Delilah and Mr Bircumshaw. "He looked," said Mrs Bircumshaw to Mrs Gillett, "he looked like a positive saint, one of the noble sort, you know, that will suffer with head up and with dreamy eyes. I nearly died of laughing." She spoke of Mr Bircumshaw, who darted a look at his wife's friend. Mrs Gillett broke into an almost derisive laugh. Bircumshaw shut tight his mouth, and set his large square jaw. Frowning, he lowered his face out of sight. Mrs Bircumshaw seemed to glitter in the twilight. She was like a little uncanny machine, working unheard and unknown, but occasionally snapping a spark. A small woman, very quiet in her manner, it was surprising that people should so often say of her, "She's very vivacious." It was her eyes. They were brown, very wide open, very swift and ironic. As a rule, she said little. This evening her words and her looks were quick and brilliant. She had been married 4 years. "I was thankful, I can tell you, that you didn't go," she continued to Mrs Gillett. "For a church pageant, it was the most astonishing show. People blossomed out so differently. I never knew what a fine apostle was lost in Harry. When I saw him, I thought I should scream." "You looked sober enough every time I noticed you," blurted Harry in deep bass. "You were much too rapt to notice me." His wife laughed gaily. Nevertheless, her small head was lifted and alert, like a fighting bird's. Mrs Gillett fell instinctively into rank with her, unconscious of the thrill of battle that moved her. Mr Bircumshaw, bowing forward, rested his arms on his knees and whistled silently as he contemplated his feet. Also, he listened acutely to the women. He was a large-limbed, clean, powerful man and a bank clerk. Son of a country clergyman, he had a good deal of vague, sensuous religious feeling, but he lacked a faith. He would have been a fine man to support a cause, but he had no cause. Even if he had been forced to work hard and unremittingly, he would have remained healthy in spirit. As it was, he was a bank clerk, with a quantity of unspent energy turning sour in his veins, and a fair amount of barren leisure torturing his soul. He was degenerating, and now his wife turned upon him. She had been a school-teacher. He had had the money and the position. He was inclined to bully her when he was not suited, which was fairly often. Harry was one of the 3 wise men. You should have seen him, Mrs Gillett, with his face coming out of that white forehead band and the cloth that hung over his ears. He looked a picture. Imagine him. Mrs Gillett looked at Bircumshaw, imagining him. Then she threw up her hands and laughed aloud. It was ludicrous to think of Bircumshaw, a hulking, frequently churlish man, as one of the Magi. Mrs Gillett was a rather beautiful woman of 40, almost too full of blossom. Better off than the Bircumshaws, she assumed the manner of patron and protector. "Oh," she cried, I can see him looking great and grand. Abraham! Oh, he's got that grand cut of faith and plenty of size." She laughed rather derisively. She was a man's woman, by instinct serving flattery with mockery. "That's it," cried the little wife deferentially. "Abraham, setting out to sacrifice. He marched. His march was splendid." The 2 women laughed together. Mrs Gillett drew herself up superbly, laughing, then coming to rest. "And usually, you know," the wife broke off, "there's a good deal of the whipped schoolboy about his walk." "There is, Harry," laughed Mrs Gillett, shaking her white and jewelled hand at him. "You just remember that for the next time, my lad.